Hello, this is section 1.3. Today we're working on order of operations. I saw this on Facebook a while ago. What we're doing is the order of operations. This problem I saw a while ago, and I think we're all going to be able to do this correctly. I'm somewhere older than 20 years old and less than 70 years old, and a lot of my friends on Facebook were not able to get this correct, and they forgot their order of operations, which can happen when you turn 60 something. So operations are things like addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. It's also your exponents, and you'll see parentheses in here too. Now there's a special order we have to do them, so you just can't go about doing whatever you want to do in whatever order you want for these operations, and that's where people made mistakes. We'll come back to this in a second. Let's look at what our order of operations are. So the definition is the order to evaluate expressions with more than one operation, where you have to make a choice on what operation you do first. So PEMDAS, which I don't like to write this way, I like to write this way, is what helps us do that. Because the first thing we have to do is the first letter, or what's on top. It's like our top priority. We need to solve or simplify whatever is within parentheses. Within those parentheses, or if there are no parentheses, then we look for exponents. We have to simplify exponents next. After we've simplified parentheses and exponents within parentheses and exponents in general, then we move on to multiplication and division. Now, sometimes you'll have multiplication and division in the same problem. When that happens, you have to go from left to right. So in, say, example number 1 that I just made up right now, if we had some number times 3 divided by 2, we have to do the multiplication first and then the division next, because we do the operation that's on the left first, and then between multiplication and division. Between multiplication and division, we do the operation that's on the left first and then on the right second. Let me switch this up. Let's go 10 divided by 2 times 3. In the second problem in blue, we would do division and then multiplication, because the division is the operation on the left, and that has to be done first. So here we would get 5 times 3, which equals 15. If you chose to multiply first here accidentally, you'd get the wrong answer. If you punch this into your calculator and your calculator knows the order of operations, which it should, 15 is the correct answer. Whereas here, the multiplication, between multiplication and division, multiplication was on the left, so we multiply first here, and then we divide. Your calculator will say that 6 is the right answer here. So what would your calculator say is the correct answer here? By the way, on your assessment, you cannot use a calculator or a phone or anything. You have to be able to do this on your own. What's cool is with your practice, you can use a calculator, you can use your phone, you can Google whatever the right answer is. Just make sure you know how to do it, so you can use those tools to help you learn how to check to make sure your answer is right. So what do we have to do first here? And I like to, if I'm doing a bunch of practice or if I'm doing an assessment with order of operations, when I was on Facebook, I just kind of scribbled PEMDAS off to the side, or I visualized it. Do I see any parentheses here? No. So I'm done with the parentheses. Do I see any exponents? No. Do I see any multiplication or division? Yes. Right here we have multiplication. So I need to do that first. What am I multiplying? 3 and 6. 3 times 6. That's 18. Seems like a lot of friends got that part right. But here's where they made the mistake. 3 minus 18 plus 2. So notice I did one step and I rewrote the new simplified version. Now, with, you know what, Mr. P didn't actually read the last part. So the last two letters are addition and subtraction. That's the last thing we'll do to simplify an expression, but we have to do what's on the left first and then what's on the right after that. So we go left to right. So as I read left to right here, I need to do 3 minus 18 first. 3 minus 18 is negative 15. Again, if you're going to try that keep, switch, flip, or add the opposite method here, I have 3 keep the 3, switch this subtraction to addition, and flip the positive 18 to a negative 18. Or you could, so now you can think I have $3 in my pocket and I owe my friend 18. Oof, I really owe him a lot of money. Well, I pay him back the $3 I have, then I still owe him 15. So now we have negative 15 plus 2. I subtract because that's on the left, and then I add because that comes to the right. So it's like reading a book when it comes down to operations that are on the same level. So negative 15 plus 2 is negative 13. Boom. That is the answer. Let's try a few more of these. Oops. So there again is our PEMDAS. So here, do I multiply? Well, I really like to just go through the process real quick. I have no parentheses. I have no exponents. I have multiplication and division. And those are on the same level or hierarchy of operations, but I have to do whatever on the left first. So I have to multiply first. So I get 6 divided by 7. That's not an integer answer, but so we get 6/7 as a solution. Don't let the fraction bother you, folks. It'll be all right. Next example, do I have any parentheses? Yes, right here. 3 minus 5. That's negative 2. Now bring down everything else. Do I see any exponents? Nope. Do I see any multiplication or division? Yes. The next thing I'm going to do here is take negative 2 and divide it by positive 2, which is negative 1. So now I have 4 minus whatever that answer is. So 4 minus negative 1. Now that looks a little confusing, but that's where I like to keep switch flip or add the opposite. Keep this, switch this to addition or change it to adding. Flip this to the opposite. Add the opposite. It's really just 4 plus 1, which is 5. Bada bing, bada boom. Holy cow, look at example 3a. It's got to be impossible. No, we can do that. Do you see any parentheses? Yes. Here, there's a negative 9 in parentheses. Well, can we evaluate or simplify negative 9? Actually, we can't. In fact, I'm going to even drop the parentheses. Sometimes they put parentheses around a negative number just to help you see that it's a negative. So it's just a little math caveat that can happen. So there are parentheses over here that I can actually simplify. 3 plus 3 is 6. So yes, copy it down. Your hand will not fall off from writing too much. I don't give a ton of practice, ton of homework. We can do this. So next, we've done parentheses. Do you see any exponents? Nope. Do you see any multiplication or division? Yep, I see division right here. So negative 9 divided by 6 is negative 1.5. So now we copy down everything else that we have. There we are. So multiplication and division, we took care of anything that dealt with those operations. Now we do addition and subtraction from left to right. So you read the book from left to right. You read this, it says 4 minus 6. So that's negative 2 plus 3 plus negative 1.5. Keep on rolling. Now we go left to right. So we have negative 2 plus 3, which is 1. Now we go 1 plus negative 1.5. I don't know why I just put an underline there. That's kind of scary, like it's going to be some kind of a fraction. Plus negative 1.5. So I have $1 in my pocket. That's awesome. But I see my friend and I owe them $1.50, $1.50. So I still owe them 50 cents. Boom. Let's try a few more. I'm going to put PEMDAS over here. Parentheses we do first, then exponents, then any multiplication or division. I like to put an arrow above it, reminding me that I go from left to right. And any addition or subtraction is the last operations that I simplify from left to right. So any parentheses here? No. Any exponents? Yes. 3 squared. That means you're thinking in your head, there are your thoughts. It's empty. Just kidding. So 3 squared means 3 times 3. Just kidding. I was just kidding. 3 times 3 is 9. A lot of people most common mistake there's people with 6. It doesn't say 3 times 2. It says 3 to the power of 2. So don't think 3 plus 3. Think 3 times 3. So we have, instead of writing down 3 squared, I'm going to write down 9. So I have 2 times 9 divided by 7. Woo! So what do we do first here? We need to go from left to right. So because we're done with the exponents, now it's multiplication and division. I have multiplication and division. So I do whichever one comes first on the left. In this case, that's multiplication right there. So I have 18 divided by 7. I can write that as 18 sevenths because 7 does not go into 18 evenly. I'll leave my answer as an improper fraction. Thank you very much. Next problem. Let's try this. You got any parentheses? You bet. Did we just do this one? No, but similar to it. Ooh, this is jazzy. It's similar to the last one. So 3 minus 5 is in parentheses. We do that first. So we get negative 2. I actually keep that in parentheses because negative 2 is what we're about to square. If you were to use a calculator here in a second and you didn't use parentheses around that negative 2, it would goof it all up. So negative 2 squared means negative 2 times itself, a total of 2 times. So negative 2 times negative 2 is a positive 4. So I've got 4 minus this 4 divided by 2. Now what should I do next here? Take a look at your order of operations. Do you have any parentheses? Do we have any exponents to simplify in this line that as we work through this simplifying? Do we have any multiplication or division? Yes, the division's over here. But Mr. P, I thought we always did left to right. Yes, but that's when it's between the operations of multiplication and division. Subtraction's on a different level. It's lower than multiplication and division, so we don't go there. We don't stoop to that low level yet. We're going to be snobby and say, hey, well, division is better than subtraction. As we simplify, it's a higher order within the order of operations, so we need to go here first. So 4 divided by 2 is 2, and then I drop down the 4 minus. So hopefully, your calculator that knows the order of operations, when you type in this original problem, you should get 2, because your calculator is doing that. Unless Mr. Pishke is still kind of like stuck on summer break and there's cobwebs up there, but I'm pretty sure that's right. You can check it with your calculator if you want to. Here we go. Parentheses. You bet right there. I get really excited when I see parentheses. Love parentheses. So I do one step at a time, following the order of operations, and I copy everything else down. It just keeps things nice and organized. You can follow your work, and I can follow it too if you get the wrong answer, but I see that it was just a little goofy mistake. I can give you credit for everything else except for that one little tiny point. Still get a good grade on the test. So here we go. I did the parentheses. I simplified that. Now do you see any exponents? You bet. Ooh, that's 3 to the power of 2, which is 9. Now what operation should we do next? Go over to your order of operations. I see addition, subtraction, and division. What's highest up? What's in this hierarchy? Well, addition and subtraction are down here. We've got some division to do, don't we? There we go. We've got 3 from that. So 4 plus 9 minus 3. What do we do first here? Addition or subtraction, and why? When it comes down to addition and subtraction, we do whatever on the left in that problem. Addition's on the left, subtraction's on the right. We go from left to right. So we get 13 minus 3, which is 10. Got any more here? These are really fun. We're going to pump the brakes on substitution. So really what we're going to move into here shortly is simplifying this, but you're like, what? There's an x there, and that x does not mean multiplication, by the way. We're going to transition away from using x as a multiplication symbol. So what we're going to do here shortly is just simplify by substituting in. So it says that whenever I see an x, x is equivalent to 3, so I substitute 3 in place of x. And I do that with parentheses. Like I put parentheses around it, kind of like a crane. You ever see those cranes that like lift up junkyard cars? Boom, boom. And they've got the big attachment on it to like pick up the cars. These are parentheses. This crane is going to pick up that 3 and put it in place of the x in the original expression. So grabs the 3, puts the 3 in place of the x. I guess I made my crane too big. So there's the crane dropping the 3 in, minus 6 divided by 2. So we just simplify it from there. But we're not going to go there right now. Let's just make sure we're feeling good with PEMDAS.